We are from Group 1 and we will be presenting on the topic of legal and ethical challenges in digital health and new medical technologies. This is the outline of our presentation for today. What is digital health? The WHO has defined it as a field of knowledge and practice associated with the use of ICT to improve health and well-being, prevent and treat diseases, support and enhance the delivery of health services, and facilitate medical research and education. So the ICT is used in both medical and other health professions, and it includes the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data, and also robotics. In view of the importance of digital health in the future, WHO has developed a plan of global strategy in digital health 2020 to 2025. This has been a long-term effort starting since 2005 with the resolution on e-health. So it aims to enhance and complement the work of existing and newly created digital health network as it recognizes the problem of inequality of resources and capabilities of countries to fully embrace digital health. So it includes short, medium, and also long-term plans and strategies to be adopted in implementing digital health. So this global strategy envisioned to improve health for everyone, everywhere by utilizing a sustainable, person-centric digital health solution while using and developing infrastructure and application that enable the use of health data to promote health and well-being. It also emphasizes that digital health should be an essential part of health priorities and benefit people in a way that it is ethical, safe, secure, reliable, equitable, and also sustainable. So in order to achieve this, digital health should be developed with the principles of transparency, accessibility, scalability, replicability, interoperability, privacy, security, and also confidentiality. So what about medical technologies? Medical technologies are defined as technologies that diagnose, treat, and or improve a person's health and well-being. It encompasses both low-risk and high-risk medical devices. These devices varies from a tongue depressor, surgical glove, and thermometers to a more complicated one such as insulin pumps, pacemaker, and in vitro diagnostics. So these medical technologies is used to assist healthcare professionals to accurately diagnose and treat patients in a timely fashion. So it will also help the patient to overcome their illnesses and improve their quality of life. So the WHO has detailed again what is the medical devices. So it is any instrument, apparatus, implement, machine, appliance, implant, reagent for in vitro use, software, material, or other similar or related article intended by the manufacturer to be used alone or in combination for human beings for one or more of the specific medical purposes, such as care, reproductive health, supporting life, disinfection, information, imaging, diagnosis, and also prevention. Even though digital health and new medical technologies may sound the same, but they are not interchangeable terms. Digital health refers to the use of digital technologies to improve healthcare delivery, patient outcomes, and population health. So they include wearable devices, mobile apps, remote patient monitoring system, telemedicine, and also electronic health records. Whereas new medical technologies includes a wide range of medical devices, treatment, and intervention that are developed and used to diagnose, prevent, and treat various conditions. So this can include new drugs, medical devices such as AI-powered robotic surgical systems, advanced medical imaging technologies, genomic and also gene therapy. So while digital health and new medical technologies might sometimes overlap, they refer to a distinct concepts in the healthcare field. These are some of the examples where we have been using digital health and new medical technology for. So we have been using remote sensing and wearable devices. So this is where the patient wear a device and it can prompt the patient to seek prompt treatment if there is any abnormality detected. So the data from the wearable devices is uploaded to a database and it also can be shared directly with physician in real time. So for example, this is smartwatches that can monitor the heart rate, rhythm and BP and also the continuous glucose monitoring. Secondly, we have been using data analytics and AI predictive modeling, which includes bioinformatic tools. So it has the ability in processing of big data and has invaluable assistance in research. So in instance for bioinformatics tools, it helps in analyzing and extracting information from the data coming from biomolecular, and it utilizes technologies and AI in research and predictive modeling in complementary clinical diagnostic tools. So it has used in predicting whether the cancer drugs is effective or not in a patient. So in the robotic fields, it's actually also under the data analytics and AI predictive modeling. So they can assist the surgeon in for the microsurgeries and other complicated surgeries. So the advancement in technology allows for better camera scope for better viewing and also allows for fine and complex movement. The fourth one is health information technologies and digital health record system. So this creates a one-stop database of patient health data where it is easily accessible and it shows real-time data and lab results. And it can also ensure safety and avoid data losses. The fifth one is laboratory devices. So there are a lot of laboratory devices that can help with testing, research, and diagnosis, as they rely heavily on the use of AI and data analytics. The sixth one is the mobile health and telehealth. So for example, is the health application on mobile phone. It can be used for self-regulation and personalized care, such as health or lifestyle coaches. It also can be used for mapping of epidemic risk and information dissemination. So the biggest example in our country is MySejahtera apps, which initially was created for the COVID-19 pandemic, then later it is used for other endemic in our country such as dengue. Both digital health and new medical technologies deals with big data. They rapidly collect complex data involving huge data storage. So the WHO Global Strategy in Digital Health emphasizes that health data are to be classified as sensitive personal data or personally identifiable information requiring a high safety and security standard. Therefore, there are needs for strong legal and regulatory base in order to protect the privacy, confidentiality, integrity, availability of the data, and the processing of the personal health data. So there are many issues created by this handling of big data. As we had mentioned before, health data is considered as personal data. So the first issue is data breach, which involves the privacy, confidentiality, and also the security of data. So the privacy means controlling the access to personal information. This is related to access to personal data by data sharing, for example, through wearable devices or health app. So confidentiality means disclosure and non-disclosure of information, and it is related to unauthorized access, use and disclosure, modification, and also destruction of data. Security is related to the storage of the data and its safety from the cybersecurity attacks and breach. So all this data can be used for manipulation, blackmail, or even being sold off for personal or monetary gain. This is protected by the PDPA 2010 law in Malaysia. So, however, there are limitations as the law is not specific for digital health and new medical technologies, hence there are loopholes. So the breach of data is usually prone during data sharing. So it is said that de-identification and also data aggregation may be used, but it is not entirely foolproof. So the second issue is reliability and obligation of data safekeeping. So who is the owner of the data? So till now this issue is not resolved. So who has the obligation for safekeeping of data, and in the event of data breach, who is liable? So whether it's the user, healthcare professionals, or the platform provider or technology owner. So till now, all of the Southeast Asian countries does not have guidelines addressing the issues of data ownership, backup, disposal, or deletion of data. So the third issue is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity attacks are prone to occur as it uses cloud computing and Internet of Medical Things, and this is not foolproof. So how are we sure that our software is safe against virus attacks? And how sure are we that our antivirus and firewall are foolproof? So once again, all of Southeast Asian countries does not have guidelines addressing cybersecurity breaches or viral attacks, or have specific or detailed plans to address these if they occur. So what laws govern data privacy and security in digital health and new medical technologies? So in Malaysia, the PDPA regulates the protection of personal data. It imposes obligation on the data users, which requires them to comply with rules and regulation when collecting, storing, using, or handling personal data. And healthcare is one of the specified data users that are required to register and comply with this code of practice. So there are other laws that can be used, but they are also not specific, such as the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998, Computer Crimes Act 1997, and also Cybersecurity Act 2018. So the CCA prohibits the unauthorized access to computer system, devices or network. Thus, the healthcare provider must implement appropriate security measures to prevent it. It also ensures the integrity and confidentiality of the data by criminalizing unauthorized alteration, deletion of damage to computer data. It also requires the healthcare provider to authenticate the patients in order to protect them from identity theft or fraudulent use of patients' data. So the Cybersecurity Act 2018 aimed at safeguarding cyberspace and also critical information structures. It also does not address the digital health and new medical technology specifically. However, it has implication in terms of ensuring data securities, protecting against cyber threats, and establishing incident response measure. So none of them cater specifically to data safety in digital health and new medical technologies, and specifically deals with cybersecurity attacks and plan if such things does occur. And this is the same as in all Southeast Asian countries. So our law is lacking in many ways in these regards. So there is lack of specific law that provides to data securities and cybersecurity for the digital health. So we can use the European General Data Protection Regulation as they have provision for health information. So in revising our PDPA Act, according to it, we can use it as a gold standard that will make our legislation more comprehensive. And it must also include detailed plans to execute in the event of cybersecurity breach and attack.
So challenge number 2 involves issues in ethics. Number 1, autonomy. Humans should remain in control of the healthcare system and the medical decision, not the AI. And also, in order to prevent unethical collection of data by the AI, consent is number 1, importance to ensure autonomy is protected. However, the nature of health data now is also changing. We are now collecting more and more private user-generated data, particularly the health data harvested from social media and the wearable technologies. Consumer tech companies such as Apple, Google, and Samsung may offer the domain of solution to collect and store and analyze health data. However, this might raise the issues relating to privacy, data protection, and informed consent. Number 2, beneficiation. How much does the new technology can benefit patients and doctors? Well, a core aim of digital health initially is to help facilitate the circulation of data between patient, devices, and clinician. So, whether the technology benefit the patient, and what about the ethics in the fee charging? Therefore, the use of new technology needs to have benefit and proven to have benefit for the patient and also the prescriber. Number 3, new technology will bring a lot of issues as well. In the non-maleficent, the possibility of potential loss of job in the automatic system usage of AI. For example, in the imaging department, they might no longer need the human to read the results and give diagnosis, and sometimes even in the giving the treatment to the patient, such as e-prescription, where pharmacists may no longer be needed for dosing and counter checking, and also giving the pharmaceutical advice. However, increased connected health solution might come with increased issues in safety and security concern as the misuse of data for other unethical activities. And there's often lack of quality and evidence-based research highlighting the associated health benefits of the newest technology. And some tech can be a double-edged sword used in medicine as well as in war, such as in history, there's also use of chemical warfare. And number 3, distributive justice, whether poorer people can have access or no access, and as well as the protection of users' privacy and the issues of malicious intent by the company and cyber attacks. So therefore, another issue is that the cost effectiveness of the medical usage, whether money can be used elsewhere where it is more feasible and beneficial for all humankind. So, what does Sharia law says about new technology in medicine? As a Muslim country, the modern medicine, medical science and technology innovates the various treatment methods that require legal clarification in accordance to Islamic law. So the Fatwa institution has played a major role in producing explanation and solution which vary in different parts of the world. For example, the fatwa in Malaysia stated that it is haram for the ART, which is artificial reproductive therapies, and the usage of surrogacy in Malaysia except for married couples. There are many other opinion pieces pertaining to the use of AI, automatons, and robotics in medicine. However, there are no hard regulation on those other matters in Malaysia yet, as those tech is not widely used, and however, the Sharia law always emphasizes on the sanctity of life and the importance of preserving human health and well-being. Therefore, it is expected that Sharia law will always support and embrace new technology and digital health practices in medicine, as long as they comply with the ethical standards and the value of Sharia. In Malaysia, we have regulatory bodies to safeguard ethics in medical research concerning human subjects in Malaysia. In accordance to the MMC Professional Code of Conduct, it is required to obtain a full approval from MREC. MREC consists of a board of various specialists in medical field that come together to look into research proposals, and they have governed the ethical aspect of conducting research. So before the researchers can embark on the research, the proposals should go through a stringent ethical checklist, ethics board, as well as be asked to go for interviews. For each research project, it is also required at least one of the panelists has the GCP, which is Good Clinical Practice certification, by obtaining and attending the 3-day course. According to the Professional Code of Conduct, medical practitioners have a duty to protect life, health of individuals involved in the biomedical research, and potential subjects must be fully informed of the study's aim, methods, benefit, hazard, and discomfort. They should be able to give their consent freely and withdraw it if they change their mind. Medical research is justified by its potential diagnostic therapeutic value for the patient. Approvals of the relevant ethics committee or the MREC should be obtained before commencement of the research project.
So reliability actually measures how consistent the quality, the effectiveness and safety of the healthcare system or processes perform over a required period of time. So as we know, there's a lot of medical devices in the market that actually incorporated artificial intelligence or the subset of this artificial intelligence called machine learning in these devices. So this technology is actually good because it can help clinicians become more efficient, help us diagnose, treat, allocate human and technological resources. But of course, it's not without its harm because AI, as we know and we heard stories about, for example, like an autonomous Tesla car that kill people, or a bias algorithm that sends people to jail. So in healthcare, of course, there are risks that AI can cause harm to patient, especially when it comes to diagnosis and treatment. So what law do we have governing the reliability of new medical device such as AI-enabled medical device and robotics? So there's no regulatory developments or
ongoing government studies that address safety and efficacy of AI and machine learning. So any AI can be considered a medical device because under Medical Device Act 2012, any software can be considered as a medical device. And the regulatory agency under this act would be a medical device authority. The agency is given power to ensure manufacturer comply to the efficacy and safety of product, as well as a good manufacturing product principle. And there will be control assigned from pre-market review to, and during the mass placement in the market and post-market vigilance. So as we can see, we actually have quite a stringent and comprehensive act when it comes to governing the medical device. But can we stretch these existing laws to accommodate AI or new digital technology in healthcare that is rapidly changing? So does the Act has the mechanism to address the dynamic nature and continuous learning of medical AI technologies? So what makes regulating AI is such a challenge is because of the speed of the technology, which evolve much faster than the law. The variety and the fluidity and lack of transparency of the technology also contribute to this challenge. For example, if a hard law exists at the early stage of the technology, it might not make much sense at the later stage because we don't know what's the impact of that technology. And if we only have guidelines at the later stage of the technology, then we might be under-regulating. So when you under-regulate, industry players will usually take the lead and develop their own standards, leading to inconsistency and contrary advice. So when it comes to AI-enabled medical devices, how does other country do it? So EU use a prescriptive legislative framework, which is called EU AI Act. Okay, so impose legislative obligation at all stages of the life cycle of an AI system. It is not specific to healthcare, but it regulates all other industry as well. Okay, in United Kingdom, there's no legislation specific for AI medical device. They use the pre-existing legislation such as UK Medical Device Regulation 2002, and the regulatory agency is the Medicine Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA. So they use a regulatory-led approach in contrast to European Union, in which they assign the existing regulator to come up with tailored approaches for their own sector, so that they will remain flexible and innovation friendly for AI developers. In United States, there's no specific legislation for AI as well. So Food Drug Administration, FDA, is tasked with ensuring safety and effectiveness of many AI-driven medical products. So they are in the process of developing oversight framework, which called the Software Pre-Certification Program and Good Machine Learning Practice. So as we can see, there are different ways to regulate AI in healthcare. Some countries use a regulatory-led approach, some use prescriptive legislation. So because of the technological fluidity of AI, our current existing law might not be able to address issues related to it. So one journal article actually suggests that we should combine hard law and soft law, in which both perform different roles and function. Hard law will set out the law on the techniques of AI that need to be regulated, the design, the experiments, registration, and outline the liability. And the soft law should be used in dealing with matters which are continuously changing in the AI technology. So, success of regulatory framework will depend not only how it is enforced and implemented, but also whether they can find a suitable balance between innovation and protecting the safety of the public.
The major problem associated with the digital health is legislature. This is because of the numerous undermined uh, regulatory requirements. We have to look towards other acts to help search for support. We cannot solely depend on the digital health 2012 because it is not standalone. We need to look at others to support us in the event there's any shortfall. Most importantly, what is faced today is by the encroachment of the healthcare companies, which spills over onto the digital health givers. Most often, we are using lots of gadgets, from the ECG machines to very highly specific machines that are used in operating theaters and in cardiac labs. Though it is thought that the Medical Device Act 2012 contributes, it is not sufficient. Again, I'm saying it's not sufficient. Even though it says any software which can diagnose, monitor, treat, and others in the process does not fall under medical device. But then we should understand all these medical devices are being operated by humans, specialists, medical officers, and even non-professional healthcare workers like the medical assistants and nurses. Lack of network security is another vital problem we are facing currently. Let's look at Sabah, Sarawak, and some of the very interior and rural healthcare clinics and hospitals. Yes, a lot of data is put into their system, but then there is not a very secure or a very strong internet connection, and very often, with no protection, these data can be misused, especially in the small hospitals where there is no data security. So, what needs to be seen is it needs to be upgraded in support of the IOMT, and data transmission needs to move in tandem with enhanced encryption. I mean, obviously, we know that without it, there is a very good chance our data and personal information of patients can be hacked into. So we need to do something that will facilitate data protection. In our public healthcare sector, we should upgrade our system by procuring AI-driven platforms which gives the security that we need, especially where there is massive amount of data to be analyzed in the bigger hospitals and healthcare institutions. In data management and regulatory impact, it is to prevent personal data intrusion. There should be good antivirus systems with backup and recovery systems. Very often we lose patient data because our backup systems are not good. Again and again, personal data protection is so very important. More importantly, accurate and updated data need to be maintained. Based on the current legislature, also there is being no judicial precedents or case laws in Malaysia that there is something to protect the healthcare givers against data leak. The other thing that we need to look at is in Malaysia is the protection of patents and copyright, which is in our institutions solely related to human-made work and invention. But because AI is not recognized as a valid and legal inventor under the current intellectual property laws, we cannot bring this into play. It cannot be used. Thus, when there is licensing of intellectual property, it is the same as commercial requirements. There is no prominence to confidentiality and limiting disclosure of confidential data. In the research and academic institution and in that field, when there is no patency legislation in Malaysia, because it is so employer-employee based, the rights deemed that property of the University of the Public Health institution. The only way the individual can seek rights would be through prior agreement between these two institutions and the employer, like the physician or the whoever the person who develops it. Finally, all liability that is associated with patient care, all, and I say all healthcare providers under digital law may or will become the primary defendants in lawsuits based on medical negligence. But then with AI, this is where the possibility of great help can be seen, because any learning machine may pose a challenge to this, because there will be documentation and there will be evidence to show that such data was procured. In conclusion, it seems like until we strengthen our legislature, the defense mechanism for healthcare in the digital era is going to be in the drive mode of the future, because until and unless we do something to in protection of the healthcare givers, and there is strengthening of the digital health laws and legislation, we are still going to be liable for lawsuits.
In conclusion, digital health and new medical technology bring both opportunities and challenges. It is therefore important to balance the risk and benefit so that patient safety, patient's privacy, and autonomy are not compromised. Healthcare providers and policymakers need to work together to develop a comprehensive framework that is fluid, ethical, protect patients, but does not stifle innovation. So when this regulatory framework is in place, then healthcare industry can embrace these technologies to improve the life of people around the world. Thank you.